Okay, guys. This is a special day. It's a special day because it's a national holiday in America. Today is Super Bowl 50. That's right, Super Bowl 50. For all of you who don't care about football in America, which is anyone who's not white, it's a day where we celebrate two teams who have fought so valiantly to make it to the Super Bowl, where they can beat the shit out of each other for 15-minute quarters for glory. And who did we have this Super Bowl? Which teams? We had on one side the Denver Broncos, and then on the other side we had the Carolina Panthers. Two QBs going against each other. We had Manning versus Cam Newton. I clearly know a lot about football, as you can tell about my commentary. Just kidding. Yeah, I don't really follow football. Just to be completely honest. I know. How dare I? I can't be a man. I'm not a man. I gotta basically just cut off my penis and throw it away if I admit that to the world. But I know the basics. Yeah. I know as much as, the girl who's trying to be cool and sits there is like, I know sports too. I know just as much as she does. Okay. I know the names of the big guys. I know the Patriots. I know you throw the ball. I know the rules. I know the refs come out and do that silly thing and then do the hand gestures and, I know about the downs. I know about the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm thoroughly adept when it comes to football. So I can hold my own. I can hold my own in a conversation. I actually have to know a little bit about sports because, to be quite honest, I have a really hard time in certain situations where I'm with a group of white dudes that I don't know and I don't share any common interests. It's really hard for me. Like, I'm not a socially awkward person, but when I'm in a scenario like that, like when you're with a person, it just shares no interest with you, and you have nothing, like no common ground to talk about anything, like just anything. You're just two very different people. Yes, sports is a great way. It's a great icebreaker. It's like I just know the bare minimum of what's going on during the football season, just so like I'm at a bar or I'm with somebody who I have to be alone with for maybe 5 minutes. Instead of just standing there awkwardly, I can just kind of go, oh, how about sports, eh? And they go, oh, sports? Oh, you watch sports? Yeah, let's talk about sports. And then they just go off. They go ham on talking about sports. And then you just wait a little bit and more white people come out of the woodwork and they start talking about it. Like, oh, you watch sports? You watch sports too? Oh, yeah, let's talk about sports. Just sports. Then you're talking about sports. And then I just slowly recede into the background and, my job is done. It's good. They're talking about sports. It's not awkward anymore. I can enjoy this interaction. But yeah, I watch sports. I enjoy Super Bowl just because of, 1, the novelty. 2, it's entertaining as fuck. 3, I don't live under a rock, and so I'm gonna participate in this national holiday because it's fun. There's nothing wrong with it, There's nothing evil about the Super Bowl other than the fact that a bunch of grown-ass men are playing a children's game and making millions of dollars and killing themselves as they do it. But if you disregard that, it's all fun and games. Literally. It is just fun and games. And it's awesome because you get to eat wings. You order pizza. These restaurants and delivery places make a fortune this day. You got funny Super Bowl commercials. You can just chill back and enjoy this national holiday. It's not officially a national holiday. Like, I don't want any foreign person listening to this and be like, oh shit, they take their football seriously. And why do they call it football? They use their hands. No, it's just, it's big. I think it's the number one watched sporting event internationally besides the World Cup. I think it's pretty big, considering the fact that it's a sport that's only played in America. It's pretty big. And it was fun. It was good. It's just fun sitting around with a bunch of people screaming at a screen as if the players can hear you. And boy, were there some pretty good things happening this Super Bowl. I drank a little bit, and that's probably why I'm stumbling over my words. So forgive me if I am not as coherent and also a little bit off the rails this episode. It is also very late and I want to go to sleep, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let's record a podcast episode while I still have the hype, but it just seems like the hype is gone. So there were some good Super Bowl ads. You know, Super Bowl ads are always funny every year. I enjoy them. They make me laugh. Some of them are just random as fuck. Like, Mountain Dew had one. It was called Puppy Monkey Baby. It was just 3 dudes sitting on a couch, and all of a sudden this ungodly creation of a tri-breed of a puppy head, a monkey body, and a baby's legs pops out and gives them this Mountain Dew energy drink. And just starts dancing around, and like this like fucking conga line beat starts playing, and then they walk out together with this Puppy Monkey Baby. Everyone in the room's like, that's so fucking dumb. But it worked, son. It worked. You know how it worked? Like, I just want to be at that pitch meeting where they're like, you know what? Let's combine these 3 things, and it's going to be so fucking weird. But hey, it's going to work, because guess what? It's so fucking weird, they're going to remember it. And it worked, man. I hate it when advertising works on me. I feel like their mental jujitsu won. And I'm susceptible to their manipulation. And it happened, man, with the Puppy Monkey Baby. Now I want fucking Mountain Dew. And I'm strangely attracted to puppies, monkeys, and babies. I don't like it when they have that much influence over me in my brain. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. That was a good one. And then they also try to get deep. They try to get deep with the ad sometimes. They had a couple ads. One was about drunk driving, and it had this very famous British accent doing it. It was not British accent, British woman doing it. She's got a British accent though, talking about drunk driving, which was nice because it's always good to address drunk driving. And like, people drink on the Super Bowl, and tons of people go out there and drive their cars and murder other people and themselves. So it was good. That was a nice message. But then they had an ad about domestic violence that was shown over Twitter. Just like it just showed a text message conversation about these two girls talking to each other, and they're like, "Oh, how's the Super Bowl party? Oh, it's great, ha ha ha." And she was like, "Oh, you should come out to the party." And then the other girl was like, "Oh, he's in one of those moods again." And the girl's like, "Are you okay?" And then it just shows her typing, and then it just fades away, and then it starts telling you, "Oh, domestic violence is bad. You should report it. Hashtag no more." And I just thought the irony was supremely rich with this commercial, considering the fact of how many NFL players are charged with domestic violence. But this commercial was, I think, hosted by the NFL, and like every time there's a domestic violence charge against one of these players, they just slap their wrists. It's like, all right, he's been suspended for, I think, a game. And yeah, we deplore domestic violence. It was fucked up when that one player punched his wife in an elevator shaft and dragged her out like she was a backpack. Like, that was messed up. But you know what? We're gonna take a stand on this. We're gonna take a stand on this. We're not gonna do it by by going after the people when they do it, and punishing them. No, let's not. Fuck that. Fuck that. We have a game to play. All right. We have a children's game with full-grown men playing right now, okay? We got to get back to that, okay? Because people need to watch the Super Bowl. But what we can't be having is other people doing it who aren't famous and rich and playing this children's game for a living, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to yell at them and tell them in the commercial and really, really pull on the heartstrings of people who do it while watching the football, Because it's not cool to beat your wife because of a football game, but it is okay if you play the game and make lots of money and you do it because America judicial system. Sorry. So hashtag no more, man. Check out that commercial. That commercial had a lot of irony. Yeah. Just so you know, because spoiler alert, I'm gonna tell you, Broncos win. It was a victory. They won, I think, 26 to 10. I wasn't really paying attention towards the end. It was pretty much a shutout in the second half, because fucking Cam Newton couldn't hold on to the ball, man. If you don't know, Cam Newton is the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, and he just was fumbling the ball left and right. And what's sad is that dude is the happiest dude in the NFL. He's got a smile the size of Texas, man. Like, it's huge. He's got very big teeth. His teeth are he's got shiny white teeth. So every time he smiles, it looks like piano keys. And they're perfectly in line, too. his head is huge. He's just got a fucking giant head. He's a giant dude in general, but he looks like when people get themselves drawn as caricatures, and you got that exaggerated face with the buck teeth, and not really buck teeth, but just huge teeth. He looks like that always. He looks like a walking bobblehead, but with a body of proportion. It's strange. So like to see that dude who's been smiling in most games that I've been seeing this season, just so defeated in that second half, it was kind of actually depressing. I felt bad for the dude. Because like normally I'd look at him, I'm like, damn, that's a ridiculous face and smile, and oh my god, his teeth are huge. You could sculpt a sculpture out of one tooth that fell out. Like if he got into an accident on the field and like, you know, they roughed that QB and he knocked out a tooth, they could donate that to a museum and someone could sculpt out like the next Greco-Roman sculpture, like marble sculpture of some dude missing his penis out of that tooth. It's a work of art, that thing. So he was upset. He kept losing the ball. People kept punching the ball out of his hand, and then that was basically the second half of that football game. So I just kind of tuned out and just had everyone else debate what the players should be doing to turn this game around. They're just debating like they know best. I love that. You know, I mean, I know the game takes strategy. It's like every game has its nuances and it's complex. I give it that. But what I love always is how unforgiving the spectators are when they watch this game. Like these guys are on the field trying so goddamn hard, destroying their bodies. Like they're like 3 concussions in a game. People are breaking legs, pulling hammies, you know, just getting beat to hell. And then everyone in the audience is like, these pieces of shit. Like, these guys aren't trying at all. Just so mad. Just so unforgiving about every single mistake that these guys do. I mean, granted, yeah, you want them to win, and it's not cool seeing them fuck up and make mistakes, but there's so much pressure on these people. There's so much pressure. There's millions of eyes on them. There's so much money, pressure from their managers, the coaches. This is how they make the living, son. The kicker in a football game makes his living based upon how well he can kick that ball between 2 posts. Think about the pressure that has on you. Like, especially when it's a kick that's going to win the game. You just know in the back of your mind, if you fuck up, people will not only hate you, but your career could be... that could make or break your career right there. Just goddamn, the pressure is huge. Yeah, people watching the game are like, you fucking suck, you piece of shit. I'm like, alright, dude, go out there and do it yourself, man. You try. Kick that ball, dude. Run that ball. Pass that ball. Something. Just try it. Like, what the hell? Just watch the game and don't get so mad and stop hitting people, you domestic abuser, piece of shit, fucker. I gotta stop hanging out with all these domestic abusers, man. They really, really bring me down when I watch football. Yeah. I gotta stop doing that. But yeah, that was the Super Bowl 50. And they had the halftime show with Coldplay and Beyonce and Bruno Mars, because they learned a lesson with Katy Perry. They're like, let's just have Katy Perry dance on stage with a bunch of sharks. That's brilliant. Brilliant. You've done it again. But then they're like, you know what? That didn't go so well. People didn't like it too much. Let's bring back a couple people who everyone loved. Everyone loved Beyonce. Everybody fucking loved Bruno Mars. And then let's add in a new lemon twist in it. Let's add Coldplay in there. And so they had Coldplay play at the Super Bowl halftime show. Coldplay, I generally like Coldplay. I didn't like their latest album, to be honest. I just thought it was like too U2 sounding. And they were trying really hard to be like, I found myself in India, like the Beatles or some shit. But, you know, not as good. And then they come out on stage on the Super Bowl halftime show with their new, you know, revitalized vision on life and trying to spread the love and message and all that shit. And having a bunch of people with flower petals dancing in the field. It was poetic to the eyeballs. It was nice. But then they had Beyonce and Bruno Mars come out. And then you totally forgot that all that other shit is happening. Like, you had Coldplay sing, like, Talk and you know, Viva La Vida on stage, and all of a sudden people just forgot that Coldplay was on stage. They just completely forgot. Well, one, they got off stage, they backed the fuck up, because guess what? Guess who's coming out? Beyonce's coming out. Guess who's coming out? Bruno Mars is singing Uptown Funk. How can you get in the way of that? That's like standing in the way of a moving train. You're gonna get fucking smashed. So he just, he steps aside like a smart person would do in that situation, and then fucking Beyonce proceeds to kill it, and everyone just sees Beyonce just destroying, just going ham, dancing in like 10-inch heels on a football field. Then gets on stage where it's slippery as fuck. She almost falls, but then gets up so gracefully. And then Bruno Mars and her are like, "Yeah, man, we're cool." And then towards the end, like you see the lead singer of Coldplay kind of like roll in the middle, like, "I'm still relevant, right, guys?" And then Beyonce's like, okay. And then she puts her hand on his shoulder. Is like, "Yeah, you can be part of the club too, because you supported Jay-Z's, new music app thing when we tried to start that called whatever the fuck it was. It didn't work out too well. Yeah, you cool too, Coldplay." And then they that was the show. That was it. That was a weird mix. It was just a weird mix. I don't understand why they decided like, hey, let's put these two together. It was good. I enjoyed it, but Coldplay, man, you get outshined by Queen Bee. And by the way, I've never met a person who just liked Beyonce. Just like, I like Beyonce. Her music is good. Every person I know who likes Beyonce loves Beyonce. It's like there's no hate. There's no in between. It's not like, yeah, Beyonce's alright. I think if you say Beyonce's alright, that's as good as like fucking slapping like any Beyonce fan in the face, because they're just like, "Oh, Queen Bee, all right, yeah, okay," and being alive is just okay. Yeah, fucking bacon is all right. Yeah, fuck you, man. Queen Bee is the best. I'll kill you for Queen Bee. They go insane, because like as soon as she came out, every single girl who was in the room just lost their mind. Everyone on Twitter was just like, "The fuck's Coldplay doing on Beyonce's stage? How dare he touch Beyonce when she touched him?" Like they just go, they're just, their devotion is pretty up there, man. It's like, it's pretty zealous and fucking gratuitous, the amount of support they show for this girl. And I mean, it gets to the point where I'm pretty sure if somebody came out one day, if she tweeted one day that like comes out as like, "I am a prophet," I'm pretty sure people would believe her. They'd just be like, I knew it. I knew she was divine. I always knew Queen Bee was divine. Fuck yeah, new religion. Let's do it. Because like right after she performed, they showed her tour. It's called Foundation Tour. And immediately, I mean fucking immediately, every single girl in the fucking room will open their phone, and a couple guys there too, just opened their phone and just went straight to the tour site. And I'm pretty sure like made a note. It's like, "I'm going to this shit. I'm pretty sure it's sold out already. Like that's just the impact. It was like the Super Bowl halftime show played. It was headlined by Coldplay, and then they showed at the end a snippet, a plug for Beyonce's tour, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Fuck yeah, Beyonce, I'm doing that shit." That's how much influence she has. It's scary. It's pretty scary. No one woman should have all that power, but she does, and she doesn't abuse it. So props to Beyonce. Okay, that's all I got on football, man. Like that's all I got. That's it. That's if you like football, cool on you. Don't take it too seriously, and it's just a game, guys. It's just a game. Like you shouldn't go out unless of course you bet money on this, and then it's not just a game. Then you fucked up, man. Then if you bet on the Panthers, I'm sorry, guys. 5 odds on the Panthers. You're out some money, but it's cool. It's cool, man. Just you'll get them next time. It's just a game. It's a child's game. It's a children's game being played by grown men who are like 5 times my size. You could squish me with their thumb, but it's cool. It's just a game. It's just a game, guys. Why you have to be mad? So recently, I watched The Revenant. I know, good segue, right? I watched The Revenant, right? There was a $5 Tuesday deal at my local movie theater. I was like, fuck it. Everyone's talking about this movie. And I'm going to watch it because everyone's like, yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio's performance in this movie is Oscar worthy. He's finally going to get it. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. And I watched it. And oh my God, I almost took my mom to go watch this. Thank fucking the Lord that I didn't do that. To anyone, disclaimer, if you're planning to watch The Revenant, 1, I'm going to spoil it for you right now so you don't have to. And 2, don't take your family or young loved ones with you when you go to watch this movie. It is a brutal movie. This movie is just too much. I did not expect this because in the trailer you watch it, it's like, oh, it's Leonardo DiCaprio in the Midwest doing some shit. Yeah, it's cool. He fights a bear. I saw that in the trailer. And you know, they're white people, they're Native Americans. It should be fine. No, what they don't tell you is you know, every scene in this movie is some cringe-worthy level of pain. Every scene. It's like there's not a scene in the movie where just like, this is pretty cool. Because not only, like, even in the scenes where they're just walking, you're looking at it like, oh my god, this is brutally cold. They're just in the cold wilderness the entire movie. It's winter. It's cold as fuck. I'm complaining because it's 40 degrees here and they're over there in like sub-zero temps in 6 feet of snow, filming a CG bear rip Leonardo DiCaprio to shreds. It's just uncomfortable to watch the entire thing. I was just really, you know, tense throughout the entire movie. But, you know, Cole, that's not what's gonna get your parents or your young loved ones to be traumatized. It's the amount of violence in this movie. It was, and I watched Tarantino, man. I'm cool with violence. I'm fine with violence. I just wasn't fucking expecting it in this movie. I did not expect it to be that violent, which is fine. Like, I don't really care too much about blood, but holy shit, it's like brutal, unforgiving. Like, they show everything in this movie. Like, you know, in most movies, they'll show like a glimpse of it, or they'll show a snippet, or sometimes someone will die off camera. No, in this movie, they just show everyone getting fucked up by like tomahawks and fucking bow and arrows and muskets and knives, because this is, you know, this is the Wild West and shit, and they don't fuck with no revolvers. They just got rifles, muskets, and, you know, the occasional knife fight with a hand axe. Leonardo DiCaprio's performance in this movie, people are like, it's Oscar worthy, and, you know, I'm not the best judge of what is Oscar worthy. I'm just like, you know, if your acting is good, it's good, right? But sometimes not the case. Leonardo DiCaprio, in my opinion, he's a good actor. You know, he's a good actor. But this movie, he's just like, I don't really know what, I mean, there's not much dialogue in his part, because half the movie he can't talk because his throat got ripped to fuck by this bear, his grizzly bear, which that attack is gruesome. You think it's going to be done in like 2 minutes. It's like a 4-minute scene of him getting destroyed by this grizzly bear, and he manages to survive. And you feel bad for him because, like, in any other situation, any other dude would just be dead. But it's a movie, so he's like, yeah, I'm gonna pull through, even though I lost like 8 pints of blood and like there's no antibiotics back then. But, you know, I'm gonna do it because for my little boy. And then this little boy gets destroyed by Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy just shanks the fuck out of him as if it's prison because he's lazy. He's just lazy. He's like, yo, man, the Native Americans come after us. They're gonna kill us, and I hate this dude because he made us get off a boat. Fuck this guy. So then he just kills his son because he sees that Tom Hardy's about to kill his dad and he's gonna snitch. So he kills him, and then Leonardo DiCaprio just at that point on starts foaming at the mouth with revenge, and he's just seething with hate. And he's like, I'm gonna get you, but he can't say anything because his throat's ripped up. So he's just like for probably the next 30 minutes of the movie. And then, you know, long story short, he gets out of there. He meets up with some other nice people who all die. And then every other scene after his son gets killed, even before that, even then, like, you see the reason they're running in the first place is everyone gets destroyed. He's out there with like a pelt company as a guide, and then they get destroyed by Native Americans because they thought that these white men had this, I guess, the chief's daughter. So these go in and just fuck them up with bows and arrows and, you know, with fucking hand axes and knives, and just destroyed them. And they show everything, man. People getting stabbed in the throat? Yeah, I gotta show it. Guy gets shot in the eye with an arrow? Gotta show it. Guy gets his head scalped? Yeah, gotta show it. So you go from that to like scenes of Leonardo DiCaprio just being ripped up by a bear, then to him getting out of there with a broken leg and being ripped up by a bear, and like suturing up his wound in his neck with gunpowder, to like eating anything that's raw. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I must have the weakest stomach because I can eat cooked food and still get sick. This dude is roaming around the wilderness and he's like, oh, that looks edible. He just picks something off the ground that's been laying there dead for like 5 days, puts it in his mouth. He's like, yeah, I'm good. This is good. Yeah, let's keep going. And they're like, and then he finds like a dead bison. He's like, here's a raw liver. And he's a vegetarian dude in real life, so he's just like, yeah, liver. Nom, 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 nom. Eats it like the Cookie Monster, and then, you know, keeps going from there. and then like keeps hurting himself, and then every person he encounters, he either has to kill or has to fight, and then he runs into a river, and then gets back to the camp to find Tom Hardy's gone, and Tom Hardy's like running away, and then he has to fight Tom Hardy, and the fight scene between him and Tom Hardy is pretty brutal too. It is a roller coaster ride of violence. It is good though. I did like the movie, and if you're into that thing, every second of survival horror, uncomfortable scenes of violence, gratuitous violence, fucking Native Americans getting destroyed by the white man, some French dudes getting messed up too if you're into that stuff, you sick fuck, and the occasional rape scene, then this is a perfect movie for you. Perfect movie for you. I will say that the cinematography is beautiful, but let's get real, who really gives a shit about that? Most people don't care about that. They're just like, you know what? Yeah, bear scene, Leonardo DiCaprio fought a bear. That's the Revenant. When they should be talking about some bomb ass cinematography going on throughout the entire movie, man. Like the entire thing that was just gorgeous. Even when people are getting slain in front of you, you're like, man, this is some beautiful death choreography, and the way they placed that blood and that scalping, that was beautiful. Nice. I'm just glad I didn't bring my mom. You know what I did realize from watching this movie though, and I've watched many movies with this theme of revenge, right? So like Leonardo DiCaprio is going after Tom Hardy for revenge, and he survives some brutal ass shit just to go kill Tom Hardy, and he eventually does. Well, technically not him. Spoiler. Tom Hardy gets destroyed by Native Americans. It's like the scene in Lion King where Simba goes back and like he's like, "You can't kill your uncle," and then Simba's like, "Yeah, I won't," and then hyenas eat him. It's basically the same thing. I'm not trying to say Native Americans are hyenas, but I'm saying like he gets his just ends by the people he fucked over. So yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio did all that, survived all these tremendous odds because of revenge, right? He's just like so fueled with hate, seething amounts of hate that he's gonna eat fucking bison liver and like shit and like have to endure the cold, because who wants to endure the cold? Fuck winter, fuck that shit. No, I'm not doing that. He did all that to just go find Tom Hardy and put a knife in him. He did that. He overcame those odds. It's inspiring, man. Revenge did that for him. But not just that movie. There are tons of movies with revenge as like the main theme of it. You got Old Boy. You got Kill Bill. You got plenty of other movies that I can't think of right now. But there are tons of movies centralized around this theme of revenge. Finding that person. Oh, fucking The Count of Monte Cristo, man. That's a classic. Like your best friend fucks you over. You spend like how many years in prison? You come back as a rich dude. You want to come fucking kill the dude who was banging your wife and like supposedly had a kid with her, and you're like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna fuck you, man. Makes for a great story. It's a good driving force to have the protagonist go over the antagonist. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking about my own life, and I'm like, God damn, like I need to get on this revenge shit, man. Like I need some of that revenge to motivate my ass, because like really, I can't even wake up at a reasonable time in the morning. Leonardo DiCaprio is sleeping inside horses to go find Tom Hardy. And he's sleeping inside a horse. You heard me right. He slept inside of a horse to find Tom Hardy. I know it's a movie. Okay, you don't have to tell me. I know it's a movie. But I'm saying, these characters in these movies, man, they're motivated by revenge. And that seems like a good force. That's a good force to get you off your ass. I need some of that revenge shit. Like Batman. Batman, for example. Man, that dude is a billionaire. Well, by birth. But still, he's off being a ninja, kicking ass. He's got all these villains. He's got the Joker, criminal mastermind, totally fucking up Gotham City. Has all these dudes. It's just him in Gotham City with like a plethora of villains who are all out to get him and destroy the city in some shape or form. And he's like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm the true detective. I'm Batman. I got the wits. I've got the trauma of my parents dying, and I'm gonna fuck all these criminals up. Mr. Freeze, I'll fuck him up. Crocodile, fuck him up. Poison Ivy, she's a girl, I'll still fuck her up. Because I have this memory of my parents getting murdered, and I need to get that revenge out of me and hate out of me. So I fight crime, motherfucker. Dude, revenge, great driving force. I need some of that, But like the thing is, I've had a very tame life. No one's murdered my family. No one's shot my dog. No one has stolen anything from me that I can't really replace. You know, like I don't have many things that are non-replaceable. Fuck, man. Like the most expensive thing I own is this computer. If someone took it, I'd be like, fuck, my computer's gone. But I'm not gonna go off and go kill him. You know, this is not like it's not gonna be some. It's not like when my bike got stolen. I found out that dude's phone number and then like called him up like Liam Neeson and Taken was like, listen, I got a very particular set of skills that I used to pedal on that bicycle, and I can move very damn fast, and I will find you, and I will kill you. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not motivated enough, man. There's not enough hate inside of me. I just don't think I'm capable of enough hate to get my ass up at a reasonable time in the morning and have discipline and do some badass shit. So this is an open invitation. Do some fucked up shit to me, really. Like, if you know me, if you really care about me, I want you to hit me with your car and put me in a coma and fuck my girlfriend and steal my life or something. Do something, do all that so that when I wake up from my coma, make sure you hit me light enough so I'm going to wake up from this coma, or make it so that you're putting me in this coma so that I can wake up at a certain time that you allow, and then I can wake up 5 years later and be like, oh my God, you stole my life and my woman and my dreams. I'm going to kill you. And I come after you and I become the man that I want to be. What am I saying? That makes me sound like the man I want to be is a psychotic killer fueled by revenge. That is pretty much the protagonist in a lot of movies, and yet you're still rooting for him. So, it's all about perspective, really. What if I want to be the protagonist for once? I wouldn't be. I mean, in real life, would that make me the villain, or would I be the protagonist? I don't really know. Shades of gray, guys. There's so much gray area in this. What I am trying to say is, if you truly care, just mess with me. I need an antagonist in my life. I need that. I don't really hate anyone. There's no one in my life where I'm like, fuck you. Like, I need that person. There needs to be a person. Like, even Donald Trump, I'm like, that dude's annoying. But that's it. That's it. I need a villain. You need to come out of the woodwork. Or maybe I just need to start stepping on toes more. Like, my neighbor, he's just, I don't like him. It's awkward. It's awkward after the whole snow exchange and all that. But he's not my villain. I need a villain. Give me a villain, guys. I need that motivation. I'm being half serious here, okay? So, come on. If you do me a favor, do this half-drunk guy a favor and just do something fucked up to me, Steal my cat, hold it for ransom. I don't have a cat. I don't have a girlfriend. So, maybe, what you could do? You could dress up as a girl if you're a guy. Have me fall in love with you. And then just be like, yo, you got pranked. Or, or you could do that, and instead of doing that, you could just, have me fall in love with you, and then be like, and then you just fake your own death, but then you're not actually dead, and you can pretend like you're the murderer of the said person. That I'm getting creative. This is getting dark, man. This is getting real dark. I'm giving you guys ideas. So, now that I'm giving you ideas, you don't have an excuse, okay? I need villains in my life. Some people I gotta hate. Okay, because I really need to start waking up at like a reasonable hour, like 7 a.m. And I don't really know how to do that. I mean, I've set alarms, but I feel like having someone murder my family and making me hate them would be a much better driving force. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, that's the end of that. Please, if you care, do that. I know I mentioned Donald Trump. Oh my God, did you guys watch the GOP debate that happened a couple nights back? Oh my God. Well, I didn't watch the debate. All I saw was a clip of it. And it was probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Granted, most GOP debates are probably going to be some of the most ridiculous things you're going to ever see. But this one just topped the charts within the first 30 seconds of it starting. So what happened was, the dude is calling everyone out to come out to their podiums, right? And they're doing the hype train. They call each person, and then the audience goes madly insane to cheer them out. And then they come out and they stand at the podiums. So, like, the podiums are all lined up. So they're doing that, and they called out the first dude. I think it was Governor Chris Christie. And then they called the second guy, which was Carson, and he walks out halfway through the door, which is just like a hallway where people come out, like, the NFL players come out, and they're like, get hyped, like, yeah, and people cheer. Carson I guess he didn't hear his name or some shit. He just comes out and he stands in the middle of the hallway because he thinks, like, oh shit, it's not my time. And he just stands there. And then people are still awkwardly clapping, and he's just standing there like, I don't know what to do. And then the announcer is just like, all right, well, I'm going to keep going. And he keeps calling more people. And it's a really narrow corridor in that hallway. So then you start calling the rest of the people who come out to the podiums. And they're just trying to they just pass this dude and like, what the fuck are you doing? And then this guy with the microphone on his head, like the headsets, who's clearly like one of the guys who's like running the show and behind the scenes, he pokes his head out even though he's not supposed to. He's yelling at Carson like, get the fuck out there, what are you doing, get the fuck out there. And Carson's just like, what do you want me, what? And he just continues to stand there, and you think it's like, oh man, this is pretty ridiculous, but it just keeps escalating because they're like calm people and it's still really awkward. There's an elephant in the room, no pun intended, but then they're just, what the fuck are they gonna do? And then Donald Trump gets called, and then he doesn't come out immediately. He just kind of strolls out with that cocky expression that he has. I swear to God, he's doing this on purpose. I swear to God. Like, it seemed so consciously done. It didn't seem like an accident. He just strolls out, pats Carson on the shoulder, and just kind of like nods, like he just chuckled, and just stands there right next to Carson. And then there's still like, everyone's just still awkwardly clapping. And then the announcer's like, yeah, okay, that's everybody. And then they forgot one person. So you got like 3 empty podiums. And then they're like, oh shit, we forgot somebody. And then they call the last guy. And then Carson finally gets the hint. And he's like, oh, okay. And he starts walking very slowly to his podium. And then Trump is just standing there by himself with that smug look. He's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Fuck the establishment. And then he is probably the last dude to walk to his podium. And that happened all within the first minutes of this GOP debate, and it was so cringe. It was so awkward, and it was like the circus. It was like the entire time, and it was like, I already thought that politics has become theater, man. It's just there for entertainment. It is comedy gold. That's why so many comedians can make a living off of it, basically just doing reaction videos off of these types of things. Like, you got, The Daily Show, you got, the other thing that Stephen Colbert left behind. And you also got John Oliver doing things about Donald Trump. But I think it's gotten past the point, man. It's gotten to the point where I don't even think it's an accident. I think it's ridiculous on purpose. Like, Donald Trump, for example, like, everyone thinks he's just a straight up bigot, and that's how he is. And for all I know, he probably is. But I just think it's being orchestrated. I think he is trolling to the next level. Like, he is next level trolling the Republican Party. He knows, I think he just guessed that if he acted like a caricature of a human being, like not a real human being, just a character of what a human being should be like, the most extreme version of bigotry, maybe that might attract the crazies that were already on board the Tea Party. And just really mess with the GOP, man. Like, I really don't understand. Like, because obviously, if you're that extreme, how do you expect to bring in everyone from the broad spectrum of America to vote for you? He's been extreme the entire time. He's been catering to a very particular group of people, the crazies. And he holds these rallies. He's only doing 2 things. He's making it very easy to identify crazy people because they'll have a Trump sticker on their car, so you're like, oh shit, I'm not gonna have any part with this person, and you just like steer clear with them. You don't so you don't really talk to them as much because you know that like they'll probably work politics in at some point and call you a fucking communist bastard for maybe even thinking about Hillary or Bernie Sanders. Yeah, he's done a very good job making it easy to identify douchebags, and 2, he's splitting that party apart and really making them just tear down from the inside. I don't like talking about politics, but I'm just talking about the ridiculousness of this. I'm not going to say, hey, don't vote Democrat or vote Bernie Sanders. Vote Bernie Sanders. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying, like, this is just like some crazy kooky theory. I have nothing to back this up. I just feels like Trump is not a stupid dude. He comes off as a tool in these interviews, but for some, like, maybe it's because I loved trolling on the internet way back in the heyday when that was cool, not just, now it's like, oh, everyone does it. I did it before you did it. I'm the hipster of the internet. Ha ha ha. Cool. I'm cool. That's what I'm trying to say. But like, maybe it's the fucking troll in me that kind of identifies that there's something disingenuous about how extreme he is and how ridiculous his entire campaign has been. It's just almost like he's pulling the strings behind it, and it's like this was deliberate. Like, he wanted to help out Hillary Clinton because maybe he wanted to help out Hillary Clinton because their family friendship actually goes way back. He's always supported the Democratic Party from all the things I've heard him in interviews saying, he's donated plenty to the Hillary Fund way back in the day when she ran against Barack Obama. And all of a sudden, he comes out as like this GOP poster boy who tailors to the crazies, hates Mexicans, and wants to build a wall. That is a pretty big 180, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, that just happened overnight, and then he's just really messing with the GOP establishment, and it just came out so perfectly in the beginning minutes of that debate, and it just kind of solidified it for me. I was like, the fuck? If I didn't think it before, I definitely think it now. That's just a kooky theory. You don't have to agree. I honestly I'm not 100% sure of it myself. It's just like this fun, kooky idea that I hold in my brains, like aliens are real, the Illuminati exists, and that my parents love me. It's just one of those things that I keep in my head because, it's fun to think about. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to close out the show. And the thing I wanted to start doing with these solo casts, when I do these solo casts, is like, one, is a discombobulated rant that I do that really has no meat to it, which is why sometimes I like to talk about some social issues and stuff, but I don't want to get too hashtag deep for no particular reason. I just like to talk about things that go on in my head. That's what the solo casts are. And one thing I started to notice is that, you got tons of shit, you got tons of noise. And what I started noticing about what I do is I tend to point at things that annoy me, make some kind of commentary about it, try to make it funny, and that's generally how comedy works. You can't point at something that's great and be like, ha ha ha, it's funny because it's awesome. No, it's just like, you point at things that are kind of fucked up, and then you make it funny. That's what comedy is. That's what comedy is. It's kind of a defense against all the nasty shit that exists in the world, which is why I love comedy. But also, you just kind of add to the noise. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You're doing that. You're like making people laugh about stuff that, on a normal basis shouldn't be funny. But at the same time, you're just adding noise. You're just adding more fuel to the fire. So I wanted to end these solo casts with good news. You don't hear about awesome shit. You always hear about the bad shit going on in the world. So I decided I'll take maybe like 5-6 minutes, devote it to things that are awesome, that I've been noticing, notable people that are awesome. This is all my opinion, by the way. You can probably be like, oh, what? That's dumb. That's not awesome at all. Fuck you, Elbert Danger Kim. Fuck your podcast for promoting that, because I don't think that's awesome. Well, that's congratulations to you. You don't think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. You can agree with me. You can disagree with me. That's America, son. That's the land of the free. Fuck yeah, I got opinions, you got opinions too. Anyways, today, I want to talk about a book that I read recently. I know I read. Whoa, I have the capability of doing that. That's how I made this podcast. Yeah, I'm going places. I read a book recently. It's called The Opposite of Loneliness. And it's written by this author called Marina Keegan. And it had a very good message. It's basically a bunch of essays written by a college graduate. I think she went to Yale. Yeah, she went to Yale. She was a student there, and she wrote a bunch of essays, and she wanted to be a writer. And I say she wanted to, not because she decided not to be a writer, but because I'm basically talking about her posthumously. I know it's supposed to be good news, but, I want to spread the information about people who were at some point doing great things, or people are doing great things out in the world. I think what she was doing was pretty great, and that's why this book became a New York Times bestseller, even though it's just a bunch of essays written by a college kid. She had talent, though. She had a lot of talent. And she was going places. She got a job at the New York Times right after she graduated, which is a pretty big feat, especially if you're in the liberal arts field. I mean, like, come on. Most of you guys aren't getting jobs. I would know. I have the diploma and no job to prove it. But she was going places. She was talented. People could see it in her. She was driven. And she wrote a book called the book The Opposite of Loneliness was a compilation of her essays, and one of the essays that kind of is the central theme of her book is The Opposite of Loneliness. And it's basically talking about how in college it's very hard to feel lonely. I know people exist in college and still feel lonely, but I mean, if you really open yourself up to being out there and socializing and taking advantage of what university life has to offer, you can really find a community, which is kind of like the story of Community, the show, where like a bunch of grown-ass adults go to a community college and find a community there. like it becomes the opposite of loneliness because it's more than just the fact that there are people there, but it's almost like you guys are joined together underneath a common cause, which is the kind of relating to the metaphor that I've started to see college as after I've graduated and like started living the real world. Is this the real world? I don't know. Just living as a lone adult out in the world, you start to see the differences, the notable differences between what it was like when you're in college and when you're out and about by yourself. Especially if you have to move to a new city, or if you went to a school in a different state and then all of a sudden after you graduate you have to go back. There's a huge shift. There's like a paradigm shift in terms of your social life, what you're doing, of course, because you got to start working now, you have to build your career, and you're no longer a student. But it just feels like something has been irreversibly changed. And I play a lot of video games, so I'm going to liken this to MMORPG. And if you guys don't know what an MMORPG is, it's basically like World of Warcraft. You get a character in a game, you play with a bunch of other people online, you level up your character, you do things together, and, you have fun. And, you go on raids and quests and shit. Yeah, it's fun. I did it for my entire high school career. I played World of Warcraft. I'm proud. I'll say it. But when I was thinking about college, I kind of thought that it was kind of similar. Being a student is kind of like being a player in an MMORPG. You're leveling up your character. You're logged onto the computer. And that's you attending school. And everyone who's attending school with you is playing the same game. You guys are doing the exact same thing. It's like you're building up your character. You're getting credits. You're doing things together. You might join clubs, aka guilds. You might be acquiring special, unique items like, I don't know, valuable experience and fucking knowledge, and also opportunities like internships and things like that. And you're all doing this under the same banner and cause of all these other students. You guys have this commonality that's always there between you two, a same purpose, right? And it really ties you in. It really gives you an opportunity to always be stimulated. It depends on what school you go to, of course, as well. If you go to like a party school and all you do is just fucking get fucked up and drunk, that was your life decision. But I really mean if you took advantage of what it was meant, what it's like to be in a university, an intellectual environment, intellectually stimulating environment. You're connected. You have a challenge. You can meet these challenges with people around you, your peers, and you're drawn and connected to these people, almost like it's a game that you're all playing at the same time together, like an MMO. And so I felt like graduating was almost like you're logging off. All that stuff you'd built up, everything that you had done before, it's not like it goes away. It still exists. But I learned quickly is people really don't give a shit about what you did in college. The further you remove yourself from college and school in general, people really don't care what you did then. No one really cares about how much you built up your student self. All they care about is what you can do now, what you're capable of doing, and how much value you're going to add to their company or XYZ. And if it's not a job you're looking for, then you have to make something. And everything that you were doing in college, it can help you, but you have to start again. If you're going to be an entrepreneur or anything like that, you have to start from scratch. Maybe you'll have some connections and it can work out that way. But what I'm basically saying, it almost felt like that. Like that kind of, dynamic of like being logged into this game and then being logged out when you graduated. It was like having the plug pulled, and you're no longer part of this institution that you've been part of since grade school. You're just all of a sudden a being in the world. Like, fun time's over. Now you have to be a person. And it almost felt like when I was a student, I wasn't really a person. I was playing a part. I was playing a part, and I felt like that really related to what this lady was doing. I know that was that was a huge tangent off of what this chick was doing. Anyways, she wrote an essay that's in this book, and it was basically talking about how we're all connected. We were all connected in university because she was in a university at the time, and she wrote a bunch of other cool things in this book as well. I don't want to spoil it and get too much into it. I will say she's a great writer. She does have a good voice. It's not boring. She doesn't try to sound smart. You can be a good writer and not trying to sound smart. She does a very good job about that. She keeps it real, son. She talks about marijuana. What a cool chick. But okay, one thing about her that kind of was I found inspiring and I want to share with you guys was when she was, I think, a sophomore in Yale. I think one of her professors was she is like an established writer, very famous, decorated, writes for a bunch of published papers and things like that. Was holding, I guess, like a Q&A at Yale because he has a class, and she was interested about taking his class or her class. I forget if it was a guy or girl. And she goes to the Q&A, and there are a bunch of people, and she asks a question. She says, "What would you recommend to all the aspiring writers out there?" And as an established writer, you see how things are changing. So her professor decides to give some real talk and was like, "You know what? It's really hard to become a writer in this day and age. So just be prepared to have everything go against you, and that only a handful of people actually make it." So it was actually pretty discouraging response to her question, and the professor kind of acknowledged that in hindsight. It was like, yeah, it wasn't the most positive and optimistic responses to a question like that. But this is all in the introduction of this book. But basically, the professor says that later, after Marina had passed away, she heard from one of her friends that she had come from that Q&A session to, I guess, this club that she was part of. And I know these details I'm giving are so broad. Anyways, she goes to this club, and apparently she looked fucking livid, like pissed, looked upset. And then her friend was like, "Dude, Marina, what's wrong?" And Marina just said straight up, "I know what I want to do with my life now. I want to be a writer." And she proceeded to do that shit and was going places, and then she passed away. Tragically. I know that's not uplifting, but she was doing good. She was doing good in this world, man. She was putting something out there. She was sharing something that you can find in this book if you pick up a copy. It's called The Opposite of Loneliness, written by Marina Keegan. And she was sharing something with the world. And the fact that she didn't let some fucking pessimistic, cynical professor stop her from doing it and proceed to go out there, but, tragically had her life cut short, should be inspiring to us all, because guess what? We're still alive. We're still doing we can still do some pretty good shit in the world. So might as well do some good stuff, because people like Marina were doing it, and tragically can't. So might as well pick up the mantle, right? And my throat is giving out on me because I was screaming at the football game all night. I need to take a sip of water. 1 second. Okay, all right. I'm going to close out this podcast now. So, everybody, my voice is hoarse. This was a long rant, and I'm going to close out episode 11 with that good news. I hope that was uplifting, and hopefully the next time I talk about somebody, they're going to actually be alive, and it's not going to be a tragic story about, them doing good and bad shit happening. But anyways, Marina Keegan, her book is called The Opposite of Loneliness. It's good to check out, and it's good writing. So, this is Danger Zone Podcast. This is episode 11. Hopefully next week I'm going to ask my friend Philip, who is a artist, and I think aspiring musical artist. He's like a visual artist too, and a musical artist as well, and a dancer too. So I'm gonna ask him to come on the podcast next week. Hopefully he's gonna be able to join me, and hopefully you guys will join us for the next episode of this podcast. If not, I'm gonna do the same shit. I'm gonna rant and give you some good news at the end. All right, because I'm gonna add that in there. I'm changing up the format. Yeah, I'm spicing it up. I hope you guys enjoy. Tell people about the Danger Zone podcast. Share the podcast if you like. And also, I enjoy feedback. More than just sharing the podcast, I like hearing feedback from you guys. Like, I meet some people sometimes, and I know you, and you're like, "Oh, man, I listen to the podcast." And I had no idea people were listening to the podcast because no one says anything. So, say something. If you like something about the podcast, say something about the podcast. If you don't like something about the podcast, say it about the podcast, and I can change it. I can learn from my failures. Yeah, I'm an adult. I'm a man. I can do it. I can take some criticism. So give them to me. I like hearing your input. If you find something interesting, let me know. And if you happen to pick up a copy of this book and you thought it was interesting, I'd like to talk about it. It's some cool shit. I like talking about a lot of things. As you can tell, I'm just continuing to talk. I talk. All right. My throat's giving out. I'll catch you guys next time, all right? Peace.